Are we live? Yeah, it's working. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for visiting our first ever Storytime Live with Charlie and Carla. This is our story time that we wanted to do so that all of you little ones at home and kids at heart had some afternoon break time or wherever you are in the world, because we have friends visiting our story time from all across the globe. Charlie, did you know we have people coming from Australia to story time?
Really?
Yeah, I think it's cool. Morning there. It's cool there. It's cool. So we are glad you're here. I'm Carla.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm the mom, in case you couldn't tell. And we're going to do story time today, which will include a few jokes, because Charlie knows I like to share jokes with her when she goes to summer camp, and she likes to share jokes with me anytime she feels like it. And we're going to do some stretching to get our minds ready to listen to a good story. And then we've got 3 great stories picked out for you today. And Charlie is going to do something special she doesn't do for everyone. She's going to play you some music on the guitar. But you might be wondering, why are we wearing our winter boots and our rain boots and our winter hats and our rain ponchos? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because today's stories are... I forgot my props. You want to do the props? In charge of the props? Oh, good. Today's stories are stories about water. Now, Charlie, do you think everybody knows that water can feel and look like different things? What are some of the things water can look like?
Snow, rain, drinking water.
Yeah.
Like we drink every day.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to feature in our stories. But first, I have a little joke for you, Charlie. Okay. What did the rain cloud wear under its clothes? Wait, let's give our friends a time to guess. But you said one of your ideas was, you don't like it when we call people we don't know friends. Doesn't feel authentic. So we decided, even though we feel so warm about you and so glad you came, that we wouldn't rush into calling you friends until you give us permission to do so. So I said, can we come up with a friendly term themed from our theme that we can call everybody when we want to talk to them?
We came up with the name Guppies.
Guppies.
Hey, Guppies.
So thanks for joining us today, Guppies. Are we ready to know the answer to our joke? Have you had time to think about what does a rain cloud wear under its clothes? Oh, we've got friends from everywhere. We've got friends from down the street. The Boulay-Beckers are here. We've got friends dialing in from Atlanta. Thank you, Tammy. And I know we've got friends from Australia. So let's get going. A rain cloud wears under its clothes thunderwear.
Whoa.
I mean, of course, right? Which brings us to stretching time. Before we do our stories, we want to get our minds ready. So I know sometimes people are sitting on their mom or dad's lap right now, or they are maybe sitting in a chair in a room with their computer by themselves in a little cozy space. So we thought we would try to do some stretches that work in a cozy space. Okay, good. First stretch we're going to do, themed by water. Take your fingers, spread them out wide, get your tickle fingers ready, and we're going to reach up and we're going to tickle a rain cloud. My rain cloud, you can't see it. It's out past the sky. Okay? We're going to tickle a rain cloud. And now we're going to take our tickle fingers, and since we tickled the rain cloud, it might start raining. But I'm imagining it's a sunny day, and it's going to make a rainbow. So can you make that big, wide rainbow stretch with your arms wherever you are? Wonderful. And then we're going to just do one round of circles, as if you're drawing a big ocean with your head as the pencil. And make a circle all the way around, make it round like an ocean, and then we're going to go the other way. Take that pencil and draw a big circle as big as the ocean, And we've got one last stretch before we get into our stories. And that is a stretch where we're going to pretend we're rowing a boat by lifting our shoulders up and rolling them back. Let's do that again. It feels so good. Lift them up and roll them back. And should we go the other way?
Sure.
Okay, let's go back the other way. Row your boat in the other direction. Lift those arms, those shoulders, roll it back. Oh my goodness, my Pilates trainer is here. I hope she likes these exercises we thought up. Miss Lynn, make sure you roll those shoulders around. Okay, I think it's time to get into our first story.
I think it is.
Okay, stories about water. All right, so we're starting with one of our very favorite water stories. Charley she's in charge of the props. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to our first Storytime Live, by the way. We're doing this again tomorrow. We're going to try it on Instagram Live. Today, if you head over to the Instagram Live right now, you're catching a fun behind-the-scenes look at what happens story time in this fun, festive story corner, what it really looks like behind the scenes. But tomorrow will be official Instagram Live, this same time, 3:30, Story Corner. Okay. I'm Carla, this is Charley, this is our first book, let's get into it. The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats, a story about Peter. Charley's going to show you a picture of Peter. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. See Peter in his room looking outside at the snow? Most places, the snow is all gone, but here in Minnesota, where Charley and I live, there was snow on the ground this morning. I kid you not. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up high, so very high along the street, to make a path for walking. Now, I love this picture Charley's showing you. I think we can do this together, readers, because this picture tells us how Peter walked in the snow. Peter walked in the snow, crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow, and he walked with his toes pointing out like this. Can everybody pretend your hands are feet? Put your hands out like this, and let's get ready to walk in the snow. Crunch, 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 walking in the snow. But then what did he do? Peter then walked with his toes pointing in like this. Let's walk with our toes pointing in like this. He dragged his feet slowly to make tracks, and he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick. That stick was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Can you imagine the sound of hitting a snow-covered tree? Plop! Down fell the snow on Peter's head. Yeah, we've got a picture of Peter's head with the snow on it. This was probably quite a surprise to Peter, to see all that snow on his head. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. So he made a smiling snowman, and he made snow angels. Oh, snow angels are so fun, where you just flop back in the snow and just do this with your arms and make a snow angel. Wherever you are right now, that's a good stretch. Let's do a snow angel. Perfect stretch for this story. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great, big, tall, heaping mountain of snow, and he slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow, and another, and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. What do you think about that idea? Should you put a snowball in your pocket, guppies, and then go into your warm house? Do you have any guesses about what might happen to Peter's snowball that he safely tucked into his pocket? Let's find out. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. He thought and thought and thought about those adventures. You know when you're in the bathtub and you've time to think? Love it. That's what Peter's doing. He's ending his day with some good, quiet time to think. Before he got into his bed, he looked into his pocket. His pocket was what? What do you think was in there? There used to be a snowball in there. What do you think he found in his pocket? I bet you have a pretty good guess. The snowball wasn't there. He felt pretty sad. I bet the pocket also felt kind of what? Wet. Kind of wet. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere, and new snow was falling. You know what? I woke up this morning and new snow was outside. And if you don't live somewhere where you've ever seen new snow fall, let me tell you, it's very, very pretty when it falls and it's fresh. But it's kind of a bummer when it falls and it's March.
Yeah.
We are ready to be done with that. Okay, and this story is almost done. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together in the deep snow.
Oh, right.
You got it. You got it. All right. Thank you, Leave Lane, for joining us. Oh, Mama, look, it's good to see you. Thank you so many friends from near and far for joining us for our first story. Now we're almost ready to hear Charlie play the guitar, but first we have a water joke. Hey, Charlie, why was the kid afraid to go into the ocean?
I don't know why the kid was afraid to go in the ocean.
Do you know why the kid was afraid to go in the ocean, Guppies? Because there was something fishy about it. Okay, I love a good joke. Now, Charlie is going to play a water-themed song. I think it's super exciting to have kids play music for other kids. Charlie, why don't you tell the audience while I go take off my winter clothes just a little bit about how long you've been playing guitar and what kind of guitars you play?
Well, I've been playing the guitar for 3 years, and I play the electric and the acoustic guitar. I brought my electric with me up here today, and
Would you like me to take off your rain poncho?
I'm fine.
Okay. Good. You never know when it's going to start raining.
Are you sitting here?
Would you like me to leave? I can't.
No, it's fine.
You know how I jam out when you play. I might dance.
You should sing.
Oh,
I have the lyrics.
that's frightening. Okay. I'm never be afraid to sing.
Yes.
Sing. I believe everybody can sing, whether you feel that your singing is on key or off key. I don't care. I love to hear it. Make a joyful noise. All right.
Bad at it, so.
Nobody's bad at it. It's attitude is everything. Sing at home if you know the song.
I was scared of ditches and dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. Oh, all my friends are turning green. You're the magician's assistant in their dreams. Ooh, and I'm stuck. Running down to the red tide, take it away to the dark side. I wanna be your left hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat as you're singing the word wrong. There's a movie that I think you'll like. This guy decides to quit his job and head to New York City. This cowboy is running from himself, and she's been living on the highest shelf. They come unstuck, lady, running down to the water tide. Take it away to the dark side. I wanna be your left hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got lump in my throat as you say the word wrong. I just wanna know if you're gonna stay. I just gotta know. I can't have it any other way. I swear that she's destined for the screen. Closest thing to Michelle Pfeiffer that you've ever seen. Oh, lady, running down to the riptide. Take it away to the dark side. I wanna be your left hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got love in my throat as you were saying the words wrong. Lady, running down to the riptide. Take it away to the dark side. I wanna be your left hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got love in my throat as you were saying the words wrong. Lady, running down to the riptide. Take it away to the dark side. I wanna be your left hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat as you say the words wrong. I got a lump in my throat 'cause you say the words wrong.
Okay. You are the coolest. Thank you for doing that song. It's very brave to play music by yourself in front of people, even when you know the people. But this is a worldwide story time. We have people in Minnetonka, we have people down the street from us, and we have people in Chicago, Australia, Atlanta. This is going global. So thank you, Charlie, for having that bravery and courage. Time to get into our second story about water. Now, some of you just joined, and this is our very first live stream story time. I'm Carla, I'm the mom. And I'm not this much taller than Charlie, it's just I'm somehow sitting on a taller beanbag. And Charlie is amazing. She's gonna play guitar for us on our story time together today and tomorrow. We're gonna do another story time, and the theme tomorrow is funny food stories. So if you like food or you think funny stories are funny, that's for you tomorrow on Instagram. Today, we're getting in our second story. We just did one about snow, because snow is a form of water. I agree. It is hard to get out of a beanbag chair, girlfriend. Yeah. I'm going to keep telling the people. So today, now we're going to do a story about rain. Now, this is a story that was written. Your mom and dad might have heard this story, or your mom, or your dad, and even your parental guardian, or your mom's, or your dad's, or your grandparents, because this is from a very classic and old favorite author, A.A. Milne, who wrote a bunch of stories about who's the most famous character in these stories by A.A. Milne, Charlie?
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. And this is a story about water from those books. I'm going to give you the zoomed up pictures. And this is fun because you don't have a lot of Winnie the Pooh board books broken out. But we got this as a gently used book. One of the things I can tell everybody is right now, people are probably cleaning their houses and finding a lot of old fun books. And it's nice to share your favorite books with other friends or little kids who are just growing up. And that's how we got this book. Oh, your watch is welcome. Okay, ready? This is a story called Piglet is Entirely Surrounded by Water by A.A. Milne. It rained and it rained and it rained. It's a little anxious, said Piglet, to be a very small animal entirely surrounded by water, and I can't do anything. Now, Charlie, get him up real close and show him how small Piglet is when he's looking out at that water. Oh, Piglet is probably feeling very scared because Piglet is a very small pig. He found a pencil and paper and a bottle with a cork to it, and he wrote, "Help! Piglet! Me! And it's me, Piglet, help, help!" Then he put the paper in a bottle, and he corked the bottle up, and he threw that bottle as far as he could, and splash. Look at that bottle. He really got a throw on there, huh? Yes, he did. Okay. Pooh splashed to his door and looked out. "This is serious," said Pooh. "I must have an escape." So he took his pots of honey and escaped to a broad branch of his tree. Now, Pooh, what do we know about Pooh? We know Pooh bears like to eat honey, right? Do any of you, have you had honey flavored things? Honey is very sweet and brown and beautiful and delicious.
Unless you're vegan.
If you are a vegan, what is something else sweet you could eat?
Agave.
Agave. Yeah, if you are a vegan Pooh Bear, we wonder if you like to eat agave. Good point, Charlie. Piglet's bottle came floating past. Pooh plunged into the water and seized the bottle and struggled to get back to his tree again. "It's a message. I must find Christopher Robin or one of those clever readers. Only I can't swim. Bother." Look at our friend Pooh. He is really struggling to get on top of this bottle, but he's motivated. Then he had an idea. If a bottle can float, then a jar can float. And if a jar floats and I can sit on top of it, I shall call my boat the Floating Bear. I love that Pooh. He's creative, you know? The Floating Bear. I mean, I would never have thought of that name. That's why I like creative ideas. Pooh gave Christopher Robin the message. "It's from Piglet," said Christopher. Oh, I get my voices wrong. "It's from Piglet," said Christopher Robin. You want to do Christopher Robin?
Oh, Christopher Robin? Oh. "It's from Piglet," said Christopher Robin. "We must go rescue him at once." "We might go in your umbrella," said Pooh. Christopher Robin opened his umbrella and put it in the water. They both got in together. "I shall call this boat the Brain of Pooh," said Christopher.
The Brain of Pooh. You can imagine Piglet's joy when at last he saw the good ship, Brain of Pooh, coming over the sea to rescue him. All right, look at that. Oh, wait, where's Piglet? There's Piglet. Piglet must be feeling pretty good. Looks like our friend Owl is out there too. Owl is not a big worrier, as we know. Well, all right, friends. Oh, guppies. Well, all right, guppies. We have only got one more story left in this story time. And I'm going to go get I forgot to get my pictures to share with Charlie. Remember how I told you that last story was from a book so old that even your grandparents might have heard that story? Well, this next story is even older than that. This next story has been told in many other generations and languages. Oh, all right. You going to do it? You ready for it?
No. I'm going to do it after.
Okay. We're going to close out with Charlie's got one more water joke we're going to do. When Charlie goes away to summer camp, sometimes I write letters to her, and I always put jokes or riddles in the letters, but I put the question at the beginning. You know how all jokes start with, "Why did the such and such do the thing?" And then I write the letter, and I make her wait till the end of the letter to get the answers.
Terrible.
I don't know if she likes
You
it.
put like facts in the middle. It's like so random.
I'm random. Moms are random. That's okay. Here's our last story, friend. This is from a book that I remember reading when I was in kindergarten. Oh boy, yeah. And your grown-ups might have also read this book when they were little, and maybe you've heard of it because it's been around for more than 200 years. This is so old that they don't even really know what the person looked like who wrote these stories, because the person named Asa was from a bajillion years ago. That's accurate. That's a fact.
The Trojan War.
Charlie loves the Trojan War, by the way. If we do a story time featuring stories about war, which I don't think is necessarily super fun,
Greek,
we will get to the Trojan War. Okay, ready? Let's get into this famous timeless fable called The Crow and the Pitcher. Okay. You're going to want to show them the first one with the crow really trying so they can imagine it. And maybe you become the lead of what they look at because they don't need to see me as much as they want to see this crow. Dying of thirst. Those beanbags are hard. Okay, I'll help you. Dying of thirst, a crow suddenly gave a cry of pleasure. Caw-caw! Let me do that again. Caw-caw! He cried. A pitcher of water. You know what we're talking about when we say pitcher? Because pitcher is one of those things that sounds like picture, but we're talking about, Charlie's going to show it to you, almost like a vase. We don't put water in pitchers very often anymore, but that is what the crow was looking at. A pitcher of water. It is indeed a pitcher, and there was water in it, but it was a very large pitcher, and the water left in it was at the very bottom. The crow could not reach down far enough to get a single sip. Perhaps, the crow said to itself, if I push it over, the water would lie on the side and I'd have no trouble getting a drink. Like, he wanted to kind of like flop the pitcher so he could get it. Now that makes me nervous because I'm thinking about water spilling out of that pitcher. But let's see what the crow decided to do. The pitcher was so heavy and the crow was not able to move it at all. He was just about to give up when he thought of something which showed what a clever crow he is. He took a pebble from the garden and carried it in his beak and dropped it in the pitcher. Can you show him where that's happening, where the pebble is coming? The first pebble. Whew, look at that, crow's feeling pretty smart. When you have a good idea, you feel pretty smart. Okay? And the level of water rose just a little bit. Then he brought another pebble and dropped that one in too. The water rose higher. And he brought another, and the water rose to the top of the pitcher. With a happy gurgle, he planted his claws firmly on the rim of the pitcher and had one of the best drinks a crow had ever had in its whole life. And this fable has a moral. Have you ever had a story where they say the moral of the story is?
Well, the moral of the story is little by little does it.
Keep trying, guppies. Try again. Well, I think before we say goodbye and invite everybody to tomorrow's story time, Charlie has one more joke.
Yes. What did the pool say to the lake?
What did the pool say to the lake? I always, when I hear a joke, I try to take a guess. So I'm going to give you guys a time to think about your guesses.
But while we're talking about this, I'm going to say water's in danger in our world, and we're going to run out of fresh water. So if you want something to do with it, start using more eco-friendly things in your life. Replace things like driving, like biking, or walking, and don't use salt on your snow, or instead use gravel. And don't leave dog poop outside.
Okay. How do we get to the dog poop? Maybe because the next door neighbor's just got a new dog. So we have got dogs on the brain. And if you guys are interested in ideas like Charlie's saying about keeping the planet clean or about dogs, what we'd love to hear from you is we're going to do one more story time tomorrow and the story theme will be funny food stories. But if you want us to do a story time again next week, we would like you to submit, tell us, or have your grown-up send me a note saying what kind of books you like or what kind of songs you would like this guitar-playing superstar to play for you. And we will come back next week. And if story time was good for just this one time, we were happy to have this time together. Guppies, my friends. Charlie doesn't want me to call you friends, so I'm calling you my guppies.
Now,
okay.
Our closing out joke. Just to remind everyone, it was, what did the pool say to the lake?
I have a guess. What did the pool say to the lake? Hey, bro, looking cool.
No, that was not
funny. What? She doesn't think my jokes are funny.
The answer is, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? Should you play them out with a jam? Okay.
Wait, I need that.
Oh, she needs her book. I don't know. It's probably lost in a sea of
Stuff.
Okay, thanks for joining us for our very first story time. We'll be back tomorrow, 3:30 Central. I'm Carla. This is Charlie. Tomorrow's theme is funny food stories, and we'll see if Charlie can get a food-themed song, or we'll just freestyle. You know, maybe I'll come up with a little freestyle rap. Ready?
No.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day wherever you are. Don't forget to wash your hands. 20 seconds feels like a long time, but it's so important. Wash your hands, stay at home, and we'll see you tomorrow for story time.